distracted driving affected me.
I did a sophomore. It takes time.
Dad, stop.
Cady was a normal 16-year-old girl. She had a lot of dreams, a lot of ambitions. She was going into her sophomore year at Marion High School.
Bye.
Bye, I love you.
She was one of those people that really wanted to serve in the community. She wanted to get a medical degree. She wanted to serve underprivileged kids. That was her dream. And she did a lot of things that I was very proud of as a parent. And being the oldest of her 5 children, all of our kids really looked up to her. Her smile was contagious. She gave the best hugs. Her friends said that as well. And that's the thing that I missed the most, was just being her dad and watching her interact with other people. She was always an old soul. So the night of the crash, Cady was going to a movie with a friend of hers, and we had given her permission to drive her friend home afterwards. It was about 10:30 at night. Cady was waiting at a red light, and the light turned green. And as it turned green, a car was coming from the opposite direction, and the driver was severely distracted. And the driver went through the red light and hit Cady's car broadside. And she wasn't conscious after that. Her body lived for about another 4 to 6 hours, but she passed early in the morning the next day. And it was one of those things that for us, we panicked when we didn't hear from her and we knew that she should have been home. We searched for her. We tried calling her cell phone, her friend's cell phone. Finally, a police officer answered and told us that we needed to get to the emergency room. One of the things I was most proud of with Cady, when I took her to the DMV to get her license, and they asked her certain questions, one of them was whether or not she wanted to be an organ donor, and she immediately said yes. And I remember how proud I was standing next to her at that time. And I never thought it would have to come to fruition. And the night of her crash, when it actually did, there was another overwhelming sense of pride that I had about it. And it's still something today that I'm very proud of. The fact that Cady knew that if it ever came down to it, she would still want to help people. So I would encourage everyone to be an organ donor for that reason, because your work can still continue. You can still be part of somebody's life. My wife and I decided that we had to be on the forefront of the issue because we wanted to save at least one other family from having to go through what we've gone through as a family. And maybe through this campaign, it'll reach more. When you're talking on your cell phone, just talking, whether it be hands-free or handheld, it doesn't matter, you're 4 times more likely to crash. That's the same impairment as being legally drunk. We need to get serious about what we do in terms of applying the law in these areas. In Nebraska, we have an anti-texting law, but it's a secondary enforcement. And it would be the same as saying, let's let people drive drunk, and unless they're doing something else wrong, we won't pull them over. That's insane. Every driver who's in a car today has a cell phone, and I know that cell phone makes noises. It beeps, it rings, it alerts you to things. It's a total distraction. Put it away. That cell phone isn't worth a life.